So hello students. So in this video we will be studying about purchasing power parity uh, theory. Okay. Okay. Purchasing power parity theory means usually what happens. Usually currencies are used for like purchasing goods and services. Means value of a currency means money depends upon the how much quantity of goods and services that can be purchased by that the currency. So thus the value of money is purchasing power. Okay, usually we know currencies are used for purchasing uh, like various goods and services. So thus means the value of currency or money means depends upon the how much quantity of goods or services that we can purchase by that a single currency. So thus the value of money it is purchasing power. Okay, exchange rate can also be mentioned on the basis of this uh, purchasing power. Usually depends upon about the money. If we have money, how much power we have, how much purchasing capacity we have, we can purchase that goods and services. So thus the value of money it is purchasing power. So this theory was uh, this theory was developed by there is an Swedish economics. Okay, he was a Swedish economics called Gustav Cassel. Okay, his name is Gustav Cassel. He has developed this purchasing power parity theory. So we can say according to this theory means the rate of exchange means the rate of exchange between two convertible inconvertible paper currency means according to this theory means the rate of exchange between two inconvertible paper currencies depends upon their relative purchasing power in the countries in which they circulate. Okay, we understand with an example. Okay, suppose by buying rupees, suppose by using rupees 60, suppose by using 60 rupees we can purchase 1 kilogram of orange. Okay, suppose by using rupees 60 we can purchase 1 kilogram of orange. So then the purchasing power of rupees can be rupees 60 is equal to 1 kg orange. Understood? Suppose by using rupees 60 we can purchase 1 kilogram of 1 kg of orange. So then the purchasing power of rupees can be expressed as rupees 60 is equal to 1 kg. Okay, similarly for purchasing 1 kg 1 kg orange we have to pay $1. Okay, $1. That first example was of India. Suppose if you want to purchase in dollar 1 kg of orange, if you want to purchase we have to pay $1. So then the purchasing power of dollar can be accepted as dollar 1 is equal to 1 kg orange. Understood? So now it is possible to state that the exchange rate in terms of value of orange will be rupees 60 is equal to 1 kg orange is equal to dollar 1. Okay, now it is possible to state the exchange rate in terms of the value of orange, that is rupees 60 is equal to 1 kg orange is equal to $1. Now it is possible to express the exchange rate in terms of their purchasing power will be, that is INR, Indian rupees 60 is equal to $1. Understood? So this was an example purchasing power. Suppose if you want to purchase 1 kg of orange in India means you should pay rupees 60. Suppose if you want to buy in America means if you want to buy 1 kg of orange means we should pay $1. So it is possible to state the exchange in terms of value of orange will be rupees 60 is equal to 1 kg is equal to dollar. So the purchasing power rate exchange will be INR rupees 60 is equal to $1. So this is the expression is on the basis of parity of purchasing power of two currencies. Okay, usually understood. This was an example. See, purchasing power of currency changes due to it may be inflation, or it may be from deflation. Okay, it may be deflations. Suppose when there is inflation, price level will be increases, like quantity of goods that can be purchased by 1 unit of currency declines, thus the purchasing power also decline, and vice versa. Thus inflation or deflation affects the exchange rate. So this was a brief discussion about purchasing power parity theory. Means suppose the current exchange rate of dollar in India is 74 rupees. In India we can purchase of 74 rupees anything. We can purchase of 1 kg of rice. Okay, 1 kg of rice. This is a purchasing power parity theory. Means in India with 74 rupees we can purchase 1 kg of rice, whereas in America if you want to purchase that 1 kg of rice means we should pay $1 for 1 kg of rice. This is called as a purchasing power parity theory. Also in India of 74 rupees we can purchase sugar, or we can purchase a small packet of soap, or we can purchase a small 10 rupees Colgate. We can purchase 74. Same way if you want to buy that much sugar or soap, 10 rupees soap or 10 rupees Colgate, how much dollar we should pay? That is called as a purchasing power parity theory. Okay, let us study in detail. Okay. So the purchasing power parity theory means this purchasing power parity theory has been popularized during World War One in the year 1918. Okay, this purchasing power parity theory was popularized during the World War One in the year 1918 by Gustav Cassel, the Swedish economics. Okay, the question may ask who has developed the purchasing power parity theory. So the purchasing power parity theory was developed by Gustav Cassel in the year 1918, and it was popularized in the World War One. According to this theory, the rate of exchange between two countries are determined by which relative price level. So this theory of exchange rate is determined by that is relative price level. Okay, so the actual rate of exchange must be that the same amount of purchasing power when exchange at the rate must buy same amount of goods and services in the both the countries. Means with for means if you are buying any goods and services what we will buy in that country, the same price should be in that country. Okay, for example, we study, suppose if you are spending 72 rupees, we can buy amount of goods in India. Suppose if you are spending 72 rupees, we can buy amount of goods in India. As we can buy $1 in America, the exchange rate between India and America will be rupees 72 is equal to $1. Okay, means which I explained in previous example. Suppose in India suppose we have in India 72 rupees. In that 72 rupees we can purchase any basket of goods. Suppose we are purchasing any basket of goods in India, we can buy of 72 rupees, we can buy 1 kg of sugar. Okay, understand, 40 rupees. Think 40 rupees of kg we have sugar, we have purchased 40 rupees. Remaining we have 32 rupees. With 32 rupees we can purchase any soap. Okay, we can purchase soap. In that 70 rupees we can purchase 1 kg of sugar and we can purchase a soap. Same way with what you are purchasing goods in 70 rupees, same in America with $1 what we can purchase. That is called, when the same amount of purchasing power parity is there, means when the currency is been exchanged at that rate, means what of the same amount of goods and services we buy. In India we have purchase of 70 rupees sugar, or we have purchased soap. Same in $1, what good basket of goods we can buy. That is called as purchasing power parity theory. Understood? Next, how purchasing power parity theory is determined. Okay, so it should be noted that the purchasing power parity theory is determined by journal price level, not the internationally traded goods, or price of exports and imports must remain the same, and country tariff, etc. So this purchasing power parity theory says that the parity theory should be determined by the general price level only. It should be determined by the journal price level, not by the international traded goods, means where the price of exports and imports sometime high or sometime low. We should not compare the international traded goods. We should compare only journal price level. Okay, a journal price level means it is a measure of overall price level for some set of goods, for a set of goods, or it may be services. Okay, it is set of goods and services. You can call it as the consumer basket. In an economy we call it as monetary union during a given interval, normal related to some base set. Means general price level means it is some set of goods and services where we can buy some consumer basket goods. Okay, understood? Purchasing power parity theory is determined by only with the general price level. Okay, moreover they are often resulting in changes rates, hence it is easy to verify the comparing wholesale standard. Next is purchasing, uh, means Gustav Castle. Okay, Gustav Castle has presented this purchasing power parity theory into two versions. Okay, Gustav Castle has presented this theory into two versions, that is absolute version of PPP theory and relative version of PPP theory. So first we'll study about absolute version of uh, PPP theory. So according to this absolute version of purchasing power parity theory, here what happens, the exchange rate between two currencies. Okay, here the exchange rate between two currencies should reflect the relation between international purchasing power of various currencies. Okay, here in this absolute PP theory, where the exchange rate between the two currencies should reflect, means the relation between, means whether should be reflect the relation between the international purchasing power theory. Means in simple words, means it says that the exchange rate should determine at the point where the internal purchasing power parity theory currency get equalized, where the currency should get equalized. Means for example, suppose a basket of goods cost rupees 1000 in India. Okay, for example, uh, a basket of goods in India it costs rupees 1000, means anything will be in basket of goods, and dollar 100 in America. Okay, dollar means whatever goods we have purchased in India, it will be 1000 rupees. When we purchase in America, it will be dollar 100. That means the exchange rate will be rupees 10 and dollar 1, or means 1000 divided by 100, 0 cancels. Okay, 20 means 10 and dollar 1. This is a way the currency should be equalized. That is called as absolute version of purchasing power parity theory. Means where the exchange rate would be determined at the point where the internal purchasing power parity currency should be equalized. Example I told, in India we'll get 1000 rupees of basket of goods in India, where dollar 100 in America. So next we'll say about relative relative version of purchasing power parity theory. So the relative version was put forward by Gustav Cassel, means in order to find what is the strength of the changes in equilibrium exchange rate. Means the relative version of PPT theory was put forward by this Gustav Cassel, means in order to find what will the strength of the changes would be made in the equilibrium exchange rate. Means if there is any deviation from the equilibrium will lead to disequilibrium. So it can take place due to changes in the internal purchasing power of a particular currency. So the changes in purchasing power are measured with the help of domestic price indices of the respective nations. So we need to assume any past rate of exchange as base exchange order in order to know the percentage of changes in the exchange rate. If we compare the price indices in the past base period with the order to present the new equilibrium exchange rate. So this was a relative version of PPP theory.